So almost by definition, if you take the concept of Atlantis seriously, you're regarded by archaeologists and their friends in the media as a kind of lunatic. And I've always found this odd because the earliest surviving source for the tradition of Atlantis.
Imagine a city rising from the middle of nowhere, where nature itself screams impossible. A city buried under the earth to escape deadly heat. A frozen wasteland where cars stay running all winter because turning them off could destroy the engine. A floating slum balanced on wooden stilts above toxic water. A town where the ground beneath your feet has been burning for more than 60 years. And somehow, people still live there. Human civilization was never supposed to thrive in these places. Deserts with almost no water. Arctic regions colder than Mars. Swamps, volcanoes, sinking lakebeds, poisoned air, collapsing ground, permanent darkness. Every law of geography, engineering, and common sense says these cities should have failed long ago. But they didn't, because humans are stubborn, creative, desperate, ambitious. Throughout history, we've built cities in places no sane person would choose. Some exist because of gold, oil, or diamonds. Others survive because there's nowhere else to go. And a few continue purely because humans refuse to abandon them. Tonight, we're traveling across the most impossible cities on Earth. Places that challenge nature itself every single day. And trust me, the deeper we go, the crazier these places become. If you're fascinated by the impossible, hit subscribe and turn on notifications, because these are the cities the world still can't believe exist. 1. Las Vegas, the neon oasis in desert hell. In the middle of the Mojave Desert, where summer temperatures regularly explode past 110 degrees Fahrenheit, sits a glowing city of 2 million people. Las Vegas shouldn't exist. This is one of the driest regions in North America. Rainfall is scarce. The surrounding land is brutal and lifeless. Yet somehow, fountains erupt in front of luxury casinos, while millions of tourists flood the city every year. The reason this desert miracle exists comes down to one thing: water engineering. Nearly 90% of Las Vegas's water comes from the shrinking Lake Mead Reservoir, created by the massive Hoover Dam during the Great Depression. Without it, the city would collapse almost instantly. But even with modern technology, the future looks dangerous. Climate change and megadroughts are causing Lake Mead to hit historic lows. Satellite images reveal a giant white bathtub ring around the reservoir, evidence of disappearing water. Meanwhile, Las Vegas continues expanding deeper into the desert. And yet, life there feels surreal. Air-conditioned casinos roar 24 hours a day. Artificial volcanoes erupt nightly. Palm trees sway beside replicas of Paris, Venice, and New York, a fantasy city built against nature itself. 2. Iquitos, the giant city with no roads. Deep inside the Amazon rainforest lies one of the strangest cities on Earth. Iquitos is home to nearly 500,000 people, but there's one unbelievable fact about it. You can't drive there. No highways connect it to the outside world. No roads link it to the rest of Peru. To reach Iquitos, you must arrive by airplane or by traveling days along the Amazon River. The city exploded during the rubber boom of the late 1800s, when wealthy barons became rich, harvesting latex from rainforest trees. European-style mansions suddenly appeared in the jungle. Imported tiles from Portugal decorated homes surrounded by dense tropical wilderness. But isolation still defines daily life. Food, fuel, medicine, electronics, almost everything arrives by riverboat. During floods, entire neighborhoods transform into floating communities. Boats replace taxis. Wooden homes rise above muddy water on stilts. The rainforest itself constantly fights back. Humidity feels like a wet blanket wrapped around your skin. Insects swarm endlessly. Tropical storms hammer the city. Disease-carrying mosquitoes thrive in the heat. Yet every morning, crowded markets burst alive with fish, fruits, spices, and the sounds of river commerce. An enormous city, trapped inside the jungle. 3. Norilsk, the most toxic, frozen city on Earth. Now imagine the opposite extreme, a city built above the Arctic Circle, where winter darkness lasts for weeks, and pollution is so severe that nearby snow sometimes turns black. Norilsk may be the harshest major city humans have ever built. Founded as a Soviet mining settlement using forced prison labor during Stalin's era, Norilsk sits atop massive deposits of nickel, copper, and palladium, minerals vital to global industry. But survival there comes at a terrifying cost. Winter temperatures regularly plunge below -40 degrees. Blizzards can erase visibility completely. The ground remains permanently frozen in permafrost. And then there's the air. Decades of industrial emissions filled the atmosphere with sulfur dioxide and toxic metals. Trees died across huge areas surrounding the city. Residents suffer unusually high rates of respiratory illness. Yet over 170,000 people still live there. Why? Because the mines generate enormous wealth. Workers can earn the salaries far higher than most Russians. Entire generations have built lives there despite the brutal conditions. In Norilsk, survival isn't comfortable. It's industrial endurance at the edge of the earth. 4. La Rinconada, the highest permanent city on Earth. High in the Peruvian Andes, above the clouds themselves, lies a place that feels almost alien. La Rinconada sits at more than 16,700 feet above sea level. That's higher than many mountain base camps. At this altitude, oxygen levels drop dramatically. Walking can feel exhausting. Headaches, nausea, and dizziness are constant companions for newcomers. And still, tens of thousands of people live there. Why? Gold. The mountains surrounding La Rinconada contains valuable deposits, drawing desperate workers hoping to strike it rich. Most miners work under an extreme system called cachorreo. They receive no salary for 30 days. Then, on the final day, they're allowed to keep whatever ore they can carry out themselves. Sometimes they find nothing. The town itself is chaotic and dangerous. Streets turn into freezing mud. Sewage systems barely exist. Mercury from illegal gold processing contaminates the environment. At night, the icy wind howls across unfinished buildings beneath glaciers, glowing under moonlight. It's one of the harshest human settlements on Earth. And yet people keep arriving. Because the possibility of gold is stronger than logic. 5. Coober Pedy, the underground town. In the Australian outback, summer temperatures can reach 120 degrees Fahrenheit. So the residents of Coober Pedy solved the problem in a way almost nobody expected. They moved underground. From the surface, the town looks abandoned, a barren desert scattered with ventilation pipes and mining shafts. But beneath the earth lies a hidden world. Homes, hotels, churches, bars, even museums, everything carved into sandstone. The town began after opal miners discovered valuable gemstones there in 1915. 6. Yakutsk, the coldest major city on Earth. If Las Vegas is fire, then Yakutsk is ice. Winter temperatures there can fall below -60 degrees Fahrenheit. At those temperatures, exposed skin can freeze within minutes. People leave cars running for hours because engines may never restart. Eyelashes freeze together instantly. Breath crystallizes in the air. Metal can stick painfully to bare skin. Yet over 300,000 people call this frozen city home. The reason lies beneath the ground: diamonds, gas, and enormous mineral wealth. 7. Makoko, the floating city of Lagos. In Lagos, one of Africa's largest megacities, lies a place often called the Venice of Africa. But unlike Venice, this isn't luxury. Makoko is a massive floating settlement built on stilts above polluted lagoon water. Thousands of wooden homes balance precariously above dark water channels where canoes function as streets. Children paddle to school. Vendors sell food from boats. Entire families live in tiny structures hammered together from scrap wood and sheet metal. The smell of smoke, sewage, fish, and stagnant water fills the humid air. Government officials have repeatedly attempted demolitions, arguing the settlement is unsafe and illegal. Fires spread rapidly. Flooding threatens homes constantly. 8. Mexico City, the sinking megacity. Modern Mexico City is slowly sinking. Literally, the Aztecs originally built their capital, Tenochtitlan, on an island in Lake Texcoco. When the Spanish conquered the empire, they drained much of the lake and constructed a giant colonial city on top of the muddy lakebed. That decision still haunts the city today. As groundwater is pumped out for over 20 million residents, the soft earth beneath the city compresses. Some areas sink more than a foot per year. 9. Centralia, the town still burning underground. In 1962, a fire started inside a coal mine beneath the small town of Centralia, and it never stopped. The underground coal seam ignited and spread silently beneath the town. Toxic gases seeped from the earth. Sinkholes opened unexpectedly. Steam rose from cracked roads during winter. Eventually, nearly everyone evacuated. Today, only a handful of residents remain. Scientists estimate the fire could continue burning for another 200 years. A town literally being consumed from below. 10. Longyearbyen, the Arctic town where you can't die. On the remote Arctic archipelago of Svalbard lies Longyearbyen, one of the northernmost settlements on Earth. And yes, people say it's illegal to die there. The reality is stranger. Because of permanent permafrost, buried bodies don't decompose normally. Scientists even discovered preserved influenza viruses in old graves. As a result, the town stopped traditional burials decades ago. Pregnant women are also encouraged to travel to mainland Norway before giving birth due to limited medical facilities.